98, guys. You're on tape 25. What's your name, your real name?
Robert E. or Eugene Duncan.
When were you born, Bob?
September 10th, 1922.
That's my wall. What I do.
That's where we put everything.
You have company.
Family room.
Kind of.
Keep
Really,
this
it's the
with your
kids'
stuff. And this says that
This is
you
the
were interviewed on this
kids'
date.
grade.
You're on tape
Oh, we had a kids'
25.
Did you? It's
In
great.
New
And
Jersey,
this
we
tape
had
will be on the shelf at the Portsmouth
Yeah.
Public
Have room they
Library.
could trash.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
you know where that is?
Oh, we had
Oh,
a
yeah.
pool table down there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge, in New Jersey, we lived in a huge mansion. We're talking,
Will do, there,
room
Don.
numbers in the 20s. It was a little town called Deal, a very rich town. My father at the time was very wealthy. And little did he know, things would change.
Bob, you told me your name and your date of birth. Where were you born?
Portsmouth.
Portsmouth, Ohio, and that's where we are now, in
That's
fact.
right.
What's the address here? Marcia? Say it out loud.
2536 Ritchie Street.
2536 Ritchie Street. What was the address that you lived at in Portsmouth?
When I joined the Navy,
No, when you were born.
all I know is
Remember?
14th Street.
14th Street, okay. And when you joined the Navy, what was your address?
2817 Brant Avenue.
Brant?
Brant, right around the corner.
But what's your present address?
785 Cordova Court, Morgan Hill, California.
Okay, so you're a California man right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
But you're from Scioto County,
Yes.
and you are retired. From where are you retired?
Pacific Gas and Electric Company.
That's a big utility in California, isn't it?
Right.
They've had a few problems lately. I've read on the news lately. Okay. How much education do you have?
High school,
High school? And what high school did you graduate?
Portsmouth High,
Okay. What year did you graduate?
1940.
1940. Okay. And you're widowed, aren't you?
Yes.
And what was your wife's name?
Natalie
Natalie. What was her maiden name?
Jacobs.
Okay. Let me ask you a few questions. What was your father's name?
William Clifton Duncan.
Okay. What was your mother's name?
Ethel Arnold, she had no middle name.
Was Arnold her maiden name?
Yes.
Okay. What were your father's, if you know this, you didn't know there was going to be a test, did you?
No.
I like to make a little genealogical line here because I know that 100 years from now, people that'll be watching this will know a little more about you. But
I kind of enjoy it.
okay, good. Glad you do. Your father's parents' names. His father's name, for example.
Thomas Fletcher Duncan.
And his mother's name.
Uh,
Your grandmother on your father's side.
oh, wait a minute, I'll have it. I think it was Sarah. I can get back to it.
You can. If it comes to you during the interview here, just pop right out with it, okay? Do you know the name of your great-grandfather on your father's side?
No.
Do you know any names of your great-grandparents?
There is Pete. I sent it to Pete. It's
Okay.
got a family tree,
Okay.
and you can answer both of those.
Where would we find that family tree then? That's with Pete?
Pete's got the one I had.
Okay.
And there was a girl, a lady, I guess, in Denver, Colorado, that accumulated all this information.
Okay. What, is she a relative or something, or what?
Well, it must be awful distant because I never heard of her before, and she sent me this stuff.
Now, this house that we're at is Pete's house.
Yes,
And Pete is your brother's son.
right,
Pete is your nephew.
yes.
Okay. And what is his name? Peter?
William Peter.
William Peter Duncan.
Yes.
Okay. Now, your mother's name, you said, was Arnold?
Yes.
That's her maiden name. Now, what were her parents' names?
Father was William, well, Arnold, it was his.
Okay. Her
And,
mother's name?
Maggie Margaret Sly, S-L-Y.
Sly.
Same as Roy Rogers.
Okay, now Sly is a name known in Sauter County as the family of Roy Rogers.
Yes.
And I assume then she may have been related?
I've been told. That's
Okay.
all I can say.
Roy Rogers is a film star, a cowboy film star, and that sort of thing. Okay, now do you know her grandparents' names? That would be Williamson.
Never have heard.
Okay. Now, did you have children?
Me?
Yes.
One daughter,
Okay, and what is her name?
Patricia Elaine.
Tricia Elaine.
Duncan.
Okay. And what's her married name now?
Rockwell.
Okay. And she's married, and what is her husband's name?
Samuel Scott Rockwell.
Okay. And do they have children?
No,
Okay. Now you have a brother. You had a brother, did you not? And what was his name?
William Arnold Duncan.
Okay. And I just happened to be married to his daughter. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, did you?
Not very, for very long, but yes, I knew it.
All right. Now, you told me all these names and everything. Let me ask you this. You went in the Navy, right?
Yes.
What year, when did you join the Navy?
September 16th, 1940.
So you joined or were drafted?
No, I joined.
Okay. You joined, in fact, before the war started,
Right.
didn't you? So that would have been in 1940. And when were you discharged from the Navy?
Officially discharged December the 27th, 1946.
What was your rank when you were discharged?
Chief electrician major.
Now, when you joined, why did you join?
All my life, I wanted to be a sailor.
And your dream came true in 1940.
Yeah, my father was a Navy.
Okay.
Seemed like the whole family was Navy.
Okay. Your father was Navy. Now, was he in the First World War?
Yeah.
Was he? Okay. Did he go overseas?
Yes.
Okay. And that's interesting. Then, so you joined the Navy in 1940. And where did you do your, what they call basic or boot camp?
Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia. How long was your boot camp at that time?
I think it was 6 weeks.
After that, after your basic training, what did you do?
I was transferred to the USS Tennessee in Long Beach, California.
Okay. So you must have gotten there by train.
Yes.
So you went from Norfolk all the way across country to Long Beach. You remember that train ride?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Well, we covered all the states in the South.
Oh, you did.
At that time, there was 15 coaches.
Coaches meaning coach cars
Yeah,
on the train?
Navy graduates going to new assignments.
What do you mean by coach then? 15 coaches? What is a
Well,
coach?
the old train,
Oh, okay.
railroad coach.
Okay, a coach car on
Yeah.
the train. And you leave Norfolk and you go south?
We went to Atlanta, and then we went across to through Alabama, Mississippi, and down into Texas to all the way down to El Paso.
How long did it take you to get to
I
Long
don't know
Beach?
about.
Sounds like a long trip.
Seemed like 8 days or something.
Okay. Now, were you married at that time?
Oh no.
When did you get married?
Well, now let's see. I should know. This is December 9th, 1946.
1946. Soon after you got out of the Navy.
1 week.
1 week after you got out of the Navy. Okay. So while you were in the Navy, you were a single
Yes.
sailor. Tell me, Bob, what does a single young sailor do when he goes on liberty?
Huh. Well, I'll tell you. First thing you do, you're supposed to, while you're on the ship, find your level of the guys you want to be with.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, it's probably you would go to the first place that had a beer place.
Go get a beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from there, who knows?
Who knows? I mean, after you get a little beer in you, the
That's right.
world is an oyster.
You go to a restaurant. Sometimes you go to what I always call a white tablecloth affair if you have the money,
Mhm.
or you could go to like a hot dog stand if you didn't.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you'd buy pitchers of beer
Oh, boy.
for the group you were with,
Mm-hmm.
because you could get a pitcher of beer for a quarter.
Bring back the good old days.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you get to Long Beach here sooner or later, maybe 8 days or so after you leave. And do you remember anything about that trip particularly? Anything like a particular exciting card game?
No, the only thing was strange about it, every time we'd go through a town through the south, the train would slow and people would be out waving, throwing candy bars.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Must have
Well,
been
really, it's not.
a big event for the train to go through town.
Well, I didn't have the patriotism.
Okay.
It was all in uniform, see, and then,
Okay, good. Now, was it just Navy guys?
yeah, all the,
Now, when you get to Long Beach, what do you do?
well, the train pulled up right at the dock.
Did you know that in Norfolk that you were getting assigned to the Tennessee?
Oh, yeah, they told us
What was the Tennessee?
battleship
Was it one of the big battleships or
at
what?
that time.
At that time. What was your job on the Tennessee?
I started out, I was in what they called the deck division, which meant to assign a certain sections of the ship. And the deck was naturally top side. And I was just a plain old apprentice seaman. But they give you interviews and try to find out where you were best suited. And I happened to hit it lucky and got into the electrical division, which I didn't know anything about at the time. I didn't know a light bulb from whatever. And I got in there.
Did you learn electricity then quickly? And okay.
And there was a lot of books and information available to you, even at that time, if
Okay.
you wanted to do it.
Okay.
And I did.
Now, as an electrician on board a ship, did you have an assigned area that you?
Oh, yes.
Or did you? Okay, where was that area?
Well, I started out in what they called the lighting shop. Here are all the lights, bulbs, change burnout bulbs and all stuff like that. And then I went to the, what they call the main drive. That had to do with the main motors, the big alternators and all that. And that was primarily my rest of the time I was on there, which was 4 years and 3 months.
Were you below deck then when that
Yes.
was? Was that deck steel deck or wood?
You mean the top deck?
Yeah,
It would covered steel.
wood covered with steel or steel
No,
covered with?
The steel was covered with this teak wood.
Oh, okay. And I guess the sailors had to keep that
That's
polished
what they
and clean.
called the holy stone.
The holy stone? What's
Yeah.
that mean?
Well, you had to rub over that thing every morning, that salt water and brushes, or this
Okay.
stone, and made it white.
Okay.
It'd be nice.
So was that your job? Or sometimes?
Only for about 2 weeks.
All right. We became an electrician real quick.
Yeah, I was ready.
Well, then you picked up the Tennessee. The train just pulls right up to the dock there. So you don't have far to walk from the train to the Tennessee.
No, we got in a boat.
Okay, so it's out in the harbor or something?
Yes, there are all these battleships is out in the Long Beach Harbor.
What battleships do you remember were there?
Oh, there was the Tennessee, the West Virginia, the Oklahoma, probably the Pennsylvania, just about the whole fleet.
When you first saw these ships out in the harbor, had you ever seen anything like that before? Norfolk didn't have that type
Well,
of
they
array.
had some cruisers, but nothing as big as a battleship.
What'd you think when you first saw them?
Oh, I was amazed. I couldn't believe it that I was going to serve on that.
Was it awesome, kind of?
Oh, yeah, at that time it was something.
So you get in a launch, and they take you out to the
Yeah, there was
Tennessee.
about, maybe 50 guys in that launch, and they all was in the same boat.
Okay,
They went aboard, nobody knew anybody on the ship,
uh-huh,
or what you were gonna do, and they just, assigned you to, a bunk, your bunk, because it was dark, it was after night,
oh,
and, next morning you didn't have anything to eat or nothing,
mm-hmm.
and, a long night.
Was it?
So next morning, roused you out at, I think 5 o'clock.
Falling rain?
Yeah,
What
to
did
go
you
do
do?
this work.
Okay.
That was before you got any assignments or anything, you had to hit the deck. That was a strange experience.
Uh, Then after you did that, your first night and that sort of thing, I guess what they do is make you scrub or just
Yeah.
give you an orientation?
Well, you had no, not too much of an orientation then. They assigned you to one of these boatswain mate.
Uh-huh.
He was the boss.
Good. Did you have a good one?
I wasn't with him long to find
Okay.
out, but I knew him later.
We're going into electricity, right?
I knew him later.
Okay.
I think he was a pretty good guy.
How long were you at Long Beach?
Oh, maybe 2 weeks.
Okay. And then is that when you shipped out then? Is that
Yeah,
when
we went up to Bremerton, Washington.
Where was it?
Bremerton.
Bremerton.
Seattle, Washington. And they,
What was going on up there?
well, they installed what they call these degaussing cables all around the ship for deterrent to magnetic lines.
Oh, okay.
All the battleships had to go up there and be fitted with that. So that took, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks or a month.
Okay. Was Seattle a nice town?
Oh, yeah.
Is that where you went in for Liberty and that sort of thing?
No, I never went to Seattle, that had no money, so he was only
Oh, okay.
making $21 a month. And,
Big pay.
yeah, by the time we got the, you got a haircut, and you had to get, your toiletries and
Mm-hmm.
cigarettes and stuff like that. You didn't have much money left.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we didn't get to Seattle, I think, the next time we came in, was later,
Well, you're at Bremerton and you got fitted out with
degaussing.
gaussing cables.
Degauss,
Degaussing.
yeah.
Interesting. And then what did you do?
Well, we went back to Long Beach,
Was that the first time you've been at sea?
yes.
What did you find that experience?
It wasn't bad, it didn't bother me.
Did you get sick?
No, never did in the whole time.
Did some of the people get sick?
Not that I remember on there.
Okay.
Most of them, if they were gonna get sick, they would get sick in that boat going out to the ship.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
that was choppy,
All right.
but it never bothered me.
Were you ever trained in gunnery or anything? Was
Yes.
everybody trained to
Yeah,
work
at
the
the
guns?
basic training and all.
Okay. Did you ever have any gunnery on the Tennessee?
No.
So you were the electrician down, where was your permanent station again?
After engine room, the FTER.
Does that mean you got an engine room and then there's a room after the engine
No,
room?
there's the forward, up front, and then after, it's in the back.
Okay. Is there a forward engine room?
Yes.
I see. So you are in an engine room, one of which is
And,
back.
in the back of the ship.
How many engines did this ship have?
Well, it was an electric drive ship. So they had two big alternators, which is AC big, and that supplied four big motors, electric motors. Something like, 2,600 horsepower to turn the screws.
And a screw is a propeller, as
Yeah.
we land levers.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had 4 screws or propellers on this ship?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you generate that electricity in the
Well,
first
it was
place?
a big steam turbine. They turned the alternator to produce the electricity to run the electric motors to
And
run the screws.
Was that oil fired or was it diesel
Oil.
or coal? Or
Oil.
Oil. How long could you travel on, how long before you'd have to refuel?
Probably 30 days.
Well, you leave Bremerton now, and then where do you go?
We went back to Long Beach, and then we had, I guess, wait on these other ships, and then we went to Pearl Harbor.
When you say wait on the other ships, you're talking about the other battleships that were
They were in refitting.
being fitted out in Bremerton.
Yeah. I don't know, but I assume that was what was happening, because we went in a group.
Do you remember going over in a group to Pearl?
Oh, yeah, they had all kind of, all drills and exercises and,
That must have been an awesome sight to see all those battleships.
yeah. it
Other
was.
ships going out on the ocean to head
Yeah.
toward
And then they had escort ships with them, destroyers and cruisers.
Well, you get to Pearl Harbor, about when was that? That'd be in 41, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had to be early for January 41.
Okay. And then what happens?
Well, the whole time was either being tied up at a dock or out on drills and things like that. They had things going on like night battle practice and destroyer attacks at night and how to deal with it. And just things like that, maneuvers.
Now, as an electrician down in the after engine room, now this is your permanent station, and you go out to sea, like on a drill or something like that. What do you do? Are you watching meters? Are you twisting
Well,
things?
my job was, first, I had to keep the voltage at 120 volts, 240 for the big stuff. And we had to check oil in all the motors, which was down below that, which was the pump room, all the auxiliary stuff that fed into the big ones. So that had to be temperature taken, the oil checked, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So that kept you busy all
Oh,
the
yeah,
time.
it was, see, we had 4 hours on duty and 8 off,
Okay.
normal cruising.
Mhm.
But in wartime, we went 4 to 4.
I see.
4 hours on, 4 hours off.
Okay. Now, so you got there to Pearl Harbor in January, about 1941, about January something. And so we've got about a whole year there in Pearl Harbor where you were stationed. Did you go anywhere else during that period of time?
Just only at sea.
Only to
Just
sea.
in that area, yeah.
And what was Pearl Harbor like as a sea station,
Well,
as a station?
There was all these, there was different areas laid out for all of the destroyers was in one spot.
Mhm.
Battleships was in another, along Fort Island.
Mhm.
Cruisers was on the other side of Fort Island. It was all sectioned out, and there was a submarine base inside the harbor. And then the supply depot was there, and all the oil tanks was built above it.
Was that on Fort Island or?
Well, I was on the main island.
Okay.
But Fort Island had the air station.
A Navy Air Station?
Yeah.
What do they call Hickam Air Station? Was that Army?
Yeah,
Air Force?
Army Air Force.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was that located?
Now you got me. I don't know exactly, but it run the road into Honolulu.
Okay.
So I never went there. Never there.
How far was Honolulu from your station?
I guess about 10 miles.
Could be there in a few minutes.
Oh yeah.
So obviously that's where sailors would go on liberty.
That was Liberty.
Okay. Was Honolulu a bustling town, a pretty hopping town?
Oh yes.
Was it?
Oh yeah. And all these sailors, then all the soldiers from their camps,
Uh-huh.
Marines, and they were loaded with the service
I'll bet.
men.
I'll bet. And a lot of bars and a lot of nightlife
Yeah.
and that sort of thing?
Oh yeah.
Now, was there fighting among the services or anything like that?
No.
Everybody get along okay?
Oh yeah. Never known of it. I mean anything, just probably individuals.
Okay. But it wasn't like the Marines taking on the world
No.
or anything?
Oh no.
Did you, while you were there before the attack, did you explore the islands any?
Oh yeah, we had
What did you find?
access to go around the island in all buses and things like that. Sometimes Navy stuff, sometimes civilian.
Okay.
he got a pretty good idea of what was going on in farming and,
Did you actually went out the countryside and saw
Yeah.
the farms?
Oh, yeah.
But other than being at sea, then during exercises, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, Honolulu was it for you for that whole year,
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
Now, not for the whole year, now,
Okay.
I'll fill in.
All right, fill in.
In July of 41, we went back to San Francisco.
Oh, okay. Why?
I don't know.
You just went.
That's one thing the sailors didn't know.
Okay.
We heard all kind of rumors of admirals having to fly to Washington or thinking of stuff like that, or conferences and stuff. But
Did you ever see Admiral Kimmel?
not to my knowledge, no.
How about General Short?
No.
You know who I'm talking about, those
Oh,
two
yeah.
guys?
Oh, yeah.
So when you go back to San Francisco, did you go under the bridge?
Oh,
Was
yeah.
the bridge?
First time.
Okay, first time. What do you mean, first time?
First time I went under the bridge.
Okay.
Well, later I went under it a lot of times.
Like when you came out?
Yeah. Yeah.
On your way back to Pearl Harbor. How long were you in San Francisco?
I don't know. That was maybe 2 weeks.
What was San Francisco like in 1945?
Very nice, very congenial people. We
Pleasant.
lined up outside the gates of the shipyard where we went and offered to take you home for
Really?
supper and just real nice.
Did you ever do that, go home with people?
Never was that.
Never did that. But now you go back to Pearl Harbor and get back there in July or August or something
Yes.
like that.
Only August.
And it's pretty much the routine that you were talking
Back to
about?
the old routine. I read since then, I didn't know at the time, it was about 15 days at sea and 15 days at port.
Okay.
And they run it in different cycles, in different ships.
Okay. So, let's say maybe about a week before the attack, what were you doing? This would be about December 1st, 2nd. What was going on?
Well, I don't know exact dates or anything, but one time we had a general quarters. Everybody had to go up on deck, and the captain or the admiral at the time we had on there was going to give a speech.
Captain of your ship?
Well, I don't know if it was him or an admiral. Yes. And he said that you guys are, that's one good, top crew. And one of these days it was something to do with a gunnery award that you might be focusing in on some Japanese ships one day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody took that because there was a lot of reserves on there then. They began to build up the crew.
Was this, there was this feeling then, and
It's going to be a war.
there was going to be a problem with Japan too,
Yes.
a war, and the war was going to be with Japan.
Right.
Anybody ever mention the Germans or anything?
No, not for me.
Being in Pearl Harbor in the beach. Okay, so there was this feeling that was going to be, who was your captain?
At that time was Captain Jonas Ingram,
Ingram.
if I recall.
And how long was he the captain?
I don't know. He was on there when I got on, and I think he was transferred after. Later became an admiral in the South Atlantic Fleet.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Who was the captain then that came on after him?
I don't know. I should know because I got restricted by him to the ship one time.
Okay, how did that happen?
I was overly.
You did what?
I was didn't get back in time.
Okay. Why didn't you get back in time?
Well, had a gal.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was one of the few guys in Honolulu at the time that had a gal.
All right.
Because I was a blonde.
You were a blonde.
Kanakis was all red. Now this is black-headed,
Uh-huh.
and they had a preference for blondes.
You had blonde hair?
Yes,
Okay. And when you say Kanaki, who is that?
that's the native people, the gals and the guys.
The women? Okay,
Yeah.
they're called Kanakis. And the native people had black hair,
Oh, yeah,
very black.
yeah.
And they liked these blonde-headed sailors.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's where I was. But see, you didn't get overnight liberty. I just put water on the
Okay.
fire there because you had to be back at midnight,
When did you get back?
about 1 o'clock.
And you got restricted for an hour?
Oh, yeah,
Well, you got restricted because you were late an hour.
yeah.
When you say restricted, what does that mean?
You can't go ashore for liberty or anything for, I had 8 days.
Ooh, that must have
So
been
that
right.
was 4 liberties I missed.
Oh, man. Did you still have a gal when you got to?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I mean, you know,
But I was in trouble.
four liberties, you know, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Okay, well now, the night before the attack, where were you? What were you doing?
I was on deck and talking to another guy and was discussing I think the weather and the patrol PT boats were going out. That's what I remember about it was they were going out on their nightly patrol. It was
Okay. What kind of weather was it? Nice weather?
clear, beautiful, just,
Typical Pearl weather?
yeah, it was really nice.
Then when did you turn in? When are the lights out there on the ship?
Oh, around 10 o'clock.
Typically, before you would turn in, would you, and you're on ship, what would you do? Play cards, just talk with the other guys?
Just sometimes play card. I never was a card player, but you'd talk mainly around the radio. We'd listen to the radio and stuff.
And what did you hear on the radio?
All news and music from Honolulu.
Did you ever pick up Japan on the radio?
No, only after the attack.
Okay, after the attack, Japan comes on the same radio, same
Oh,
time?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll ask you about that in a minute, but, so then you turn in around 10 o'clock, lights out. Then what do you next remember? Getting up? I guess.
Well, got up and had breakfast.
About what time was that?
Well, you got up about 5, and you had breakfast about 7. And we were all sitting around the mess table, just cleaning up and stuff.
What did you have
Ready
for breakfast?
After breakfast, and we was ready for a regular Sunday holiday routine, doing nothing.
Which would be nothing?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Get up.
That sinks a little low.
This will be chapter 2 when it
Oh,
comes back,
okay.
because we're getting to a good point here. Okay.
Ah. Is it interesting, Sam?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Here's, okay, well, where we were, you were in the breakfast, you were at mess there at breakfast and you're sitting around. And then what happened?
Well, all at once, the general quarters was sounded, the bell, the report to the general quarters, battle stations, and nobody could, we thought it was a drill. And
Was it kind of like grumbling, you know, here we are drilling on Sunday?
well, yeah, certainly, yes.
Okay.
So I had to go, let's see, to the back, to the stern, and about halfway back, about 50 feet, about 100 feet to go down in a hatch to the next level. I was let's see, I was on the second deck, had to go third deck, first platform. Went through 2 hatches to get to the engine. And that's at the bottom.
We're at the bottom of
Yeah.
the hull, huh?
And as we all came through, in a pretty quick time, they closed the hatches, watertight, integrity they called it. And they say set condition Z. That's
Z.
everything buttoned up. All the compartments and everything. In other words, all the armor and everything else was sealed in. And we probably never would have sunk anyway if it had been bombed, you know, the torpedo. But anyway, right away you start, everybody's there. You're waiting, what are we going to do now?
Still waiting for the drill to start, huh?
Well, they solved that. They says, prepare to get underway. And everybody got to go through the routine of starting up turbines and generators and all that. And then you wait. And then all at once the ships had given it the old bounce,
Really?
and we're trying to find out what's happening.
You still didn't know that there was an attack by the Japanese?
No, we didn't. We were the last ones to find out. So anyway, we going through our routine. Then all at once the smoke began to come in from the Arizona when it blew up.
How did the smoke get in your
Ventilators.
Ventilators, okay.
Right down the chute. And we had ours on where they get the air down there.
Right.
And that brought the smoke.
Well, did you figure at that point then, when did it dawn on you that something really was
Well, they
different?
finally got through to the bridge with the sound-powered phones.
Mhm.
And we were told that we were under attack by the Japanese. And we'll stay in general quarters until it's clear.
Okay, what was the reaction when you got that?
Well, I don't think anybody said anything but disbelief, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it was something.
What'd you think?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
I know I wasn't scared. I never was frightened. But they kept, but one time they said, well, Champ Adamson just came back. Well, Champ Adamson was at that time the fleet wrestling champion, heavyweight. And he was like God.
Oh, really?
When Champ Adamson said something, you listened.
Mhm.
And he said, the Japs is bombing us and we're under attack. And he just came back, he stayed overnight in the beach because he was married.
Mhm.
And he came back walking along the pipeline on
Mhm.
our ship. So the rest of the day, they, well, the next thing was that they started to turn the screws. And we were wondering, what are we doing that for? Where the hell are we going, you know? But that was to keep the fire back off of the ship, because the stern was already on fire.
The stern of the Tennessee?
Yeah, from the oil burning from the Arizona.
Okay, so when you say keep the fire back, you're driving the water back to the
Yeah,
stern?
with the oil.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Good.
Because all these guys, see, were coming out of the Arizona, jumping in, and they'd clear the oil going down, but when they came up, they was right in the fire.
I see.
So it was busy, the guys up there were,
How close were you to the Arizona?
25 feet,
25 feet.
or
Did any of the Arizona guys make it over to the Tennessee deck?
probably up at the West Virginia did.
Okay.
All them
Virginia.
guys came over.
Mhm.
And so the rest of the day, we were sitting there trying to breathe that smoke. They finally shut off the ventilators, but the smoke was there and we couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
And that was my war as hell right there.
Experience with the battle right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was, went on till finally, well, they'd open the hatch. Every once in a while, we'd get sandwiches and some coffee.
Mhm.
But that wasn't very often. But then around 7 o'clock,
7 o'clock at night,
yeah,
evening?
said, you can go topside. So we all went up topside, but half of us, so the other half had to stay in. Things was still running. And when I got up there, it was dark. And I heard these airplanes coming.
Uh,
I don't know what that is, but I didn't give it a lot of thought. All at once, all these guns opened up. Everything. It was itchy fingers in the harbor.
I'll bet there were.
Well, they shot them all down.
Including the Tennessee, they're shooting from the
Oh,
Tennessee
yeah.
also? So they shot these planes down?
Yeah, and they were friendly. It was off of the Enterprise.
So we shot our own planes down?
Oh, yeah, they came in to see what's happening.
Mm,
They found out,
unfortunately.
yeah, I think it was 5 guys killed in them planes.
Oh, my. Okay. Well, when you get up topside on, it's dark, say
Oh, yeah.
7 o'clock at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was either that or the smoke. You know, it
Yeah,
was-
okay. Could you see anything, though? I mean, the destruction? Where's the Arizona by now? Is it at the
That
bottom?
was burning, tipped over, the forward part was tipped, You seen those pictures that they put the fires out.
Mhm.
And it was, but that, well, when I first seen it, it was smoking and burning, there was fire everywhere,
Okay,
all around it.
okay, okay. And had the Tennessee been hit, your ship?
Yeah. The center gun on the #1 turret was hit. It was cracked open, they could never use it. And then the #3 turret
Mm-hmm.
had they said it was a 12-inch naval shell.
Mm-hmm.
Went through the armor on the top and broke open and burned down in where the crew was.
I see.
And that got, I don't know where it killed anybody, but it burned a lot. A lot of
A lot of
injuries.
guys. Okay. Now, where's the Oklahoma?
Oklahoma was right, like from here over to that mirror from us. I mean, it was further than that, but that angle,
At that angle?
yeah.
Okay.
And it was capsized.
It was upside down.
Yeah.
I guess there were guys still in there.
Oh, yeah. It said about 800.
800 of them.
But at next morning, there was guys immediately up on there trying to open up, cutting holes in there with torches to
Mm-hmm.
get them out. They could hear sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And that went on 2 days, I guess. And then immediately in forward of us was the Maryland.
The Maryland.
Yeah,
Was that a battleship?
Yeah, a battleship. And it was all wedged against this, what they called this big concrete key. You couldn't move. Of course, we couldn't move until the Maryland got out because West Virginia was sunk alongside us.
It was sunk beside
Oh,
you?
it was something on the bottom. They took 8 torpedoes
Really?
and crew abandoned. They come on over across and most of them went to Fort Island. They kept right on the run, naturally. But there was another guy from Portsmouth on the Tennessee,
Who was that?
a guy named Bob Boyd.
Bob Boyd.
Yeah, haven't heard from him since,
Really?
but he was missing, and they asked me if I had seen him. Well, I knew him before he went to the Navy. And I said, no, never he was. They couldn't find him, so they got all these clothes together, and I had to identify stuff, that was his and all that. And they paid his parents the insurance, $10,000, and he was missing in action, probably dead. So about a week later, I guess, here he comes sashaying back aboard,
Where had he been?
over to the Fort Island fire station,
Fire station.
helping put out fires.
Well, then, you go up topside at night, and then do what happens? You have to go back down to your station?
I did when they started shooting.
Oh, when they started shooting at these other
Yeah,
planes?
I figured the hell with them. I went back down south.
How long were you down there then?
Till probably 2 in the morning.
Then did you, what?
Well, they said you can go topside, or you can get out of here, and you better go get some rest, sleep. So I went in what they called the control room, and laid down on some grating. Man, I was tired, I was sleeping. And it was so hot on those gratings that it even singed the shirt.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was that,
Okay.
been laying on it that long. But
So then the next day?
8 o'clock was up and we'd go back down the engine room.
Okay. Did you get to see the harbor though? At the, what?
Yeah, I went up
Finally.
there and it was, everything was still smoking and burning. They hadn't put that out. And there was bodies.
Always floating in the
And
harbor?
they were picking them up with these motor launches and these, what they call the hooks. And they took them over to this recreation center down at the swimming pool. They used the pool for lay them out like a mooring. And that went on, they was picking up bodies 2 or 3 days after they came out of the,
They floated out of the
ship.
ship?
Ships. Arizona and there, West Virginia.
Did you go back on the shore any after that, or what happened?
Well, yes, I did. I don't know for what occasion or how I done it,
Mhm.
but I did get to go over to the Navy Yard and I seen the 2 destroyers that was destroyed in the dry dock in the Pennsylvania
Oh,
when the battleship was in there. I did see that. But how I got there or why, I don't know, but I remember that.
well, and it's pretty obvious we were at war at that
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And did you hear Franklin Delano Roosevelt's speech? You remember that, maybe on the radio? Well, Tokyo Rose comes over the radio
I
from
don't,
Japan.
somebody did, and made remarks about the ships being boarded and we were captured.
Oh, really?
Tennessee was one of them.
Okay.
So we're all sitting around the radio. And,
You're looking for people to capture you.
one guy said, well, who the hell is going topside and sea?
Well, after this, what happens? I mean,
Well-
days go by, weeks go by. And,
Well, it wasn't too long, but right away, they, first thing was to get them ships clear of these other sunken ships.
Mhm.
So they got tugboats and everything to get that Maryland out of the way, because it wasn't hardly damaged. And get it over to dry dock and check it out, or to the Navy Yard. Then we had to get out. Well, to get us out, they had to destroy this big key, concrete and steel key that was tied up to it. They had to get that out of there. Then they pulled us out
Okay.
from alongside of West Virginia. So we went over to the Navy Yard. Our stern, we were in, was all, had been burning, on fire. All the rivets was loose from the heat. All the paint burned off. They'd even burnt the canvas cover off the top of the quarterdeck. And all that had to be patched.
Mhm.
Welded, he welded it, didn't put the rivets back. So we could get to the States, get out of there.
That where you went then? You went from Pearl Harbor back to Long Beach or where?
Bremerton.
Bremerton.
That's where the Navy Yard was.
Okay.
So that, we, on our way, well, we went out of the harbor the day that they said, all yard workers leave the ship. And we prepared to get underway. Well, they had all them welding cord torches and, oh God, all that junk on there, and they was throwing it off and everything else.
Throwing it overboard
No, on the dock.
onto the dock.
And them guys was in a hustle because they got orders, we gotta get out of here.
Okay.
For one reason, I don't know where the urgency comes, but we met. So they didn't know where the Japs was waiting on us, or we didn't anyway. We said, now what the hell are we gonna do if they're out there yet?
Mhm.
So anyway, the Tennessee, Maryland, and let's see, one other one, Pennsylvania, went to sea as a group. So we went out over Christmas, we were at sea, water was running down on the third decks.
Is there a storm?
All leaking through them
Oh.
where the fire was.
I see.
And hell, they was a pumping like mad. They was just gonna sink at sea. And then that went off. We got back to Bremerton. Right away, here comes some Army planes over, going to play footsie,
Mhm.
and they got shot down.
In Bremerton, Washington?
Going through that Straits of Juan de Fuca.
Uh-huh. The Army planes got shot down?
Oh yeah, they come nosing around and those
Who shot them down? The Tennessee? and the
Tennessee and the West Virginia thing, or the
Maryland?
Maryland, or let's see, Maryland and the Pennsylvania went to San Francisco.
Mhm.
The Tennessee and I think we were the only one that went to Bremerton, but we had the most damage.
Mhm.
And when we got into Bremerton, almost late at night or late afternoon, there was, they had to unload all that ammunition that was on there
Mhm.
and the oil. And then, before we could get to the dock, they wouldn't take, on the dock. So all these ex-Tennessee sailors and ex-guys, of course, they wanted to know what went on. And we had orders, don't say nothing.
Mhm.
And here were these guys had brothers and all
Yeah.
on there, and they wanted to know. And that was a little project.
I'll bet. Okay.
So,
How long were you in Bremerton then, getting fixed up?
all about No, it was probably a couple of months. They had to do a lot of work. And it was top priority because the Bremerton already had the Nevada in dry dock, so, and the Colorado was in there. And the British battleship Warspite was there. And here we come. That was a problem on the beach. Of course, we was the big hero then.
You were?
Oh yeah, we were the veterans. Them guys was slackers. They was in the States. That caused trouble.
After you left Bremerton eventually, where did you go then?
San Francisco.
Okay. And what was the purpose of that? Just
Stand by.
Stand
for
by.
whatever came. We were going to be the backup for the carriers in the Battle of Coral Sea and Midway. And
Did you go to Coral Sea?
Went towards it, but we didn't go there.
When you say you were backup, that's what it was.
Yeah, we weren't in the battle or nothing like that. Probably not even close.
After Coral Sea, then you went to back up the Coral Sea fleet.
Yeah.
What happened then?
We come back to San Francisco. And we waited, and we got a hero's welcome when we got back.
Great.
That always got me.
Didn't fire a shot there at Coral Sea.
No, but it was in the fog. We couldn't see nothing anyway.
All right.
And then later, I don't know how much later it was, we went out toward Midway. And they told later it was Midway battle. So we came back again.
Were you back up at Midway?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't fire a shot?
No, several battleships. All we done was lost some airplanes.
You did?
The ship, that was observation. Got lost in the fog and all that. But then we stayed there. And then we went back to Bremerton. And we was in Bremerton 9 months for a major overhaul.
Okay.
They stripped everything off of that top of that ship, opened up the whole top deck and took all the machinery out, took it over into these big shops and redone it.
Mm-hmm.
All back, put a new superstructure on the top, replaced the guns and everything, just like a new ship.
Okay.
And we went to Pearl again.
Well, how long did you stay at Pearl then?
Not long because we had to go had to come back to go to Long Beach to get ready to go to the Aleutians.
The Aleutian Islands?
Yeah, so we was in them battles up
Were
there.
you in the battles up at Attu
And Kissimmee.
and Kissimmee? Okay. Did you shell the shore or anything?
No.
Okay. Did you see the battle or you were there?
No, we heard about it, but I don't think any ship seen the other ones. They were at a battle, but nobody seen anybody.
Now after the Aleutians, where did you do?
Toronto,
Tarleton. Okay.
right direct.
Okay.
And of course that took quite a few days and all that. Then we come back to the States.
Did you fire your guns then?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that was, we were back in bombardment.
Okay.
And we went to, back to Pearl. Of course, they'd replenished those stores, food and guns, ammunition. And then we went to Kwajalein
Good.
in Weetah. Then down further in the South Pacific to Kibang, wherever that was. And then we bombarded other little islands where Marines just routinely took over.
Uh-huh.
Make sure, and then we came back to Ifadi,
Ifadi.
a little island down there, and Saipan. But I got then back to Ifadi, I got transferred to Ifadi.
Were you in the invasion of Saipan? Was it Tennessee?
The ship, I wasn't on it then. We went up there to bombard, but I didn't get in on the.
You had been transferred out?
Yeah, to Washington D.C. as school.
You actually went back to the States?
Yeah,
And you went to school there?
Washington, yeah.
Okay, for what? Electrician?
No, it was what they called interior communication, telephones and stuff.
Okay. How long was that for?
It was supposed to be 8 weeks,
Uh-huh.
but I had too much money and there's too many gals on the beach and I didn't last that long.
What do you mean, you didn't last?
Flunked out.
You flunked out of school?
Yeah.
And they sent you back to the fleet?
No, I went to Mobile, Alabama.
Another school?
Now, yeah, it was fire school, firefighting school, and
What do you want to take time for?
Dinner.
Dinner?
Yeah.
We're just about done.
went to firefighting school and gyro company school in
Mhm.
New Orleans.
Okay.
Then, I was on a different ship then, Furious
What kind of ship was that?
Repair. And, later it was destined to go, went to Mobile, they put it in commission, up to Norfolk, they fitted it out for being a Navy ship. And from there, we went up to New York. I guess they got more orders and stuff like that. Then we took off for Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you ever get back to the Pacific then?
Oh, no, I'm not
Okay,
done.
okay, but we're in Guantanamo there.
So we went through, stayed there, or whatever, and then through the canal. Through the Panama Canal in January of 1945. Made chief.
You had made chief by that time.
I made chief in Panama.
Okay.
And we went directly to Pearl Harbor.
Was Pearl Harbor still a mess?
No, I had pretty well straightened out then, but the Arizona was still there. I hadn't done much on it. So we had to get fitted out to go to Saipan, and we went to Saipan. And then I stayed there for 18 months.
Saipan.
Yeah.
Did you get into Okinawa?
No.
Were you in that?
Later, when the war was over, I got to Okinawa, or transferred.
Good.
And then from Saipan, and the war ended while I was at Saipan. And I had 13 months to do yet.
Why did you have so much to do even though the war?
So I was 6 years enlisted.
You enlisted for 6 years, okay. It's your own fault then,
Oh,
wasn't it?
yeah. I liked it.
Did you like the Navy?
Oh, yeah. So we went to Japan, Wakayama.
Were you in the occupation of Japan?
Only enough to unload a shipload of beer.
Well, they needed beer in Japan.
Oh, it did. That Greasy Dick beer.
What was it called?
Greasy Dick.
That must be a nickname.
No, it ain't.
No.
It's a regular beer. That's Lou.
Oh, well, that's.
He remembered it.
Greasy Dick beer.
Yeah. But we didn't even know it. They had the cargo holds full of that stuff.
Okay.
Just for that purpose.
Beer.
And we got where Japan, I was going to be part of the landing force.
Did you get to drink any of it?
Well, illegally. A lot of guys did. They got caught and then they got in trouble.
Okay, after the unloading of the beer, then what?
Well, that was Wakayama, and then we figured, somebody figured that ship's going to go out of commission. Liberty converted.
Mm-hmm.
So we went over the big loop to the top, and
What do you mean?
Seattle, you know, the way what they call the Great Circle.
Oh, okay, that would take you up around the Aleutians again?
Yeah, and then back down to Seattle instead of running straight across. So we got into Seattle, they started dismantling that thing, taking all the Navy gear off at sensitive, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
tools, everything. And then back to Pearl. And we tied up there, and they started the process of decommissioning.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through that. See, I still had time to do. They put me on tugboat, this fleet tug,
How long were you on that?
10 months. Then I went back to Guam. See, I couldn't get out of the Pacific.
It doesn't sound like you can get out of there.
And I stayed there until I tried to get out. I don't know how long I was at Guam on that. But the fleet tug operated around Pearl Harbor for a while, pulling cargo off the reefs and that stuff. Then after the war, we towed Japanese subs,
Did you?
and they sunk them.
Told them out to sea and something.
Yeah, we were the towboat, and our sub was the signal with our torpedoes. Now they have drills and stuff.
Okay. Now these subs, you found them in Japan?
I guess that's where they, yeah.
They bring them over and use them for target practice,
Yes.
I guess.
So, and finally at Guam, my time was running out then, September. I was supposed to be out September 15th.
Mhm.
But they said, well, we can't get transportation. I kept bugging them. They said, well, we're going to get you on the Boxer. That's that big carrier. Better hurry up, it's going through the breakwater now.
Is that the name of the ship, Boxer?
Yeah, the old Boxer Rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, it missed that, and I figured, well, maybe I'll get a boat, or an airplane. I ordered red, first available transportation. And guess what? A Liberty ship, Coast Guard.
Really?
And it took 17 days to get from Guam to San Francisco.
Must have been a miserable trip.
And all the guys on there were Marines with malaria, stuff like that. They could bring it back.
Yeah.
And it was a mess. That was 17 days of hell.
Well, when you hit San Francisco, then were you a free man?
No.
Were you a civilian again?
I had to go through the process at Treasure Island. That was 2 weeks. Get physicals and re-indoctrinated, and it tried to convince you to ship over, stay in, and go. They explained all the schooling you could go to and the job opportunities.
Do you wish you'd stayed in now?
Yes.
Do you?
So after that, we figured, now we're on. Not so. Had to go to Alameda Naval Air Station.
Where's Alameda?
Right over in Oakland, South
Okay,
Bay.
right.
Went over there and went through some more that kind of stuff. And then they said, well, you can go home now. Now that was in November of '06.
Okay.
But I had to take leave. And, December 27th, I was officially discharged.
And a week later, you married. Got
Yeah.
married.
So that shows you, I had a very,
You had an interesting military again.
for 6 years and 3 months.
Did you get some battle stars?
Oh yeah, I got, well, 7 battles, but you only got 3 campaign things because of the Aleutian, the Gilbert Islands, and the Marianas.
Okay.
Just the 3 areas.
Um,
And I got a naval accommodation ribbon in Tennessee. And I got,
Even though you were late getting the ship back one
I was in the area during the time of that. Oh yeah, I got all the whatever I was entitled to. And everybody, Patty thinks that medals or something else. They're the routine.
Were you ever wounded? You didn't get wounded?
Never.
Do you keep up with your friends that you made any?
Well, I tried to, but they're all falling off. Hell, I'm about the only one left. Just a couple.
Do they still have reunions up
Oh,
in
yeah.
Tennessee?
Yeah,
Do you
we're
go?
going to one December.
This December you're going to,
I've got the
where will
ticket.
that be?
Pearl Harbor,
No.
60th.
Have you been to Pearl Harbor since then?
Oh yeah, a lot of times. Yeah.
And have you been to Japan? Have you been to Guam? Have you been to the other places?
I'd like to go. I had just to see because I don't know. It was interesting.
Well, Bob, do you have anything else you'd like to say? I mean, do you have any tattoos you'd like to talk about? Or
No,
anything?
no tattoo.
You're a sailor without a tattoo.
That's right. I got in the chair one
Take your
time.
ribbons away from you.
I was going to get one, and
Yeah.
I figured, what am I doing? And I got out of the chair.
What were you going to get, an
A
anchor?
little anchor right there. Because a friend of mine that was on the ship, he had one.
Well, I guess that's about all we have, unless there's something else you want to say.
No, I just about covered everything.
We covered the waterfront.
Yeah,
I think they want us upstairs. Didn't you?
yeah, I think so.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for
I'm
everything
glad
you did.
you're interested. I would tell anybody.
Okay. Well, you're the 98th guy that's done this. I got 2 more, that'd be 100.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Pete and Lou, but they held out.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, they were like I was. For a long time, they didn't want to. Yeah, help me up. I'm like,
There we go.
I don't know. I ain't no strength.
Oh, no strength anymore? Okay.
I'll get it. I got a bicycle at home.
Okay, work on